So we're gonna make a bourbon cocktail with fig. I love figs. I'm obsessed with figs.
She is.
I ate a jar of fig jam to myself last week.
So much so that
crackers.
now I feel like we need to grow some fig trees.
We need fig, well, they're kind of more like bushes. I mean, you call them trees, but they grow very wide.
Well, I learned that figs can actually grow on trees, bushes, and even vines.
I heard that they can be that that fancy way that you can train vines to make them really pretty. That
Yes.
would be cool.
That would be cool.
They grow best in like the Mediterranean and really warm environments, and that's
They
where you'd
do.
be getting them if you got them at a store
But
right
there
now.
are cold varieties
There are.
that can
And
grow all the way up to zone 6.
our brother actually has a fig bush, and it's like gold. His figs every year, we kind of fight over them, and then he makes fig jelly and jam with them, and it's my favorite Christmas gift, actually.
Yeah. Actually, I just showed a house that had 3 fig trees in Enumclaw.
What?
Yeah.
And I'm not buying it?
Yeah, I know.
I should
it was
live there.
It was pretty cool. I actually picked the fig from the tree and ate it, which was the first time I had done that in this area.
We also have friends in Yakima that grow figs, so it's a new experiment for them. But Kruger Pepper Gardens in Yakima is an all-organic farm where we get all of our peppers and tomatoes and stuff. We talk about them on our Insta story sometimes because we just are obsessed with that tradition that we have. And when we went there last time, they were growing persimmons and figs as an experiment to see if it grew in Yakima, and it does.
Do you know that figs are like one of the oldest cultivated crops?
That makes
Like,
sense because
in
it's like
the
from
world?
Rome and Greece.
Yeah, I mean, and it's in like every single different religion has references to figs, and figs are like super important to their
This
stories.
girl.
I know.
She's got so many
I've learned
facts.
so much about figs because they seem to be everywhere in everything that you're doing.
I love
recently.
figs, that's why. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for cocktails up in here with all this info you're dropping.
I know. Well, and the crazy thing is that Shane, our
Yes.
florist friend, brought.
Fig and oak.
Yeah, exactly, and he's also obsessed with figs. So I feel
That's
like
the name
figs
of
have
his floral
been
company.
around me, and then we did that really super cool photo shoot. That's on Sunset Magazine
Yes, so
website
cool.
yesterday.
Sunset Magazine published a photo shoot that our friend organized. Jen at Events Northwest is a genius, and she put together the prettiest concept, and it was the kind of thing we could all kind of picture it in our mind, but I never would have been able to put that stuff
No.
together.
I mean, she's amazing.
She's so
Anyone
good.
who does style shoots, in my opinion, is amazing.
They're hard. I like just coming in and having to do the cocktails. That's it.
Yeah. I like just coming in and getting my photo taken.
Yeah, that
I
part's
did,
fun, too.
but I did get to supply the ham this time, which was pretty exciting.
Yes. Okay, you talk about figs more for a second.
Okay.
Let me see.
So the other
Okay,
fun,
the kids are coming
the
in
other
to join
fun
us.
fact about figs, which I had no idea, is that the part that you're actually eating is not the fruit.
What?
Yeah, it's
Mind
the flower.
That,
It's the inverted flower.
I love
There's
that
some
fact.
crazy fun things. The other things is
Figs
that
are a flower.
yeah, figs are a flower, and the actual fruit is the seeds, all the little seeds
All the
inside
little
of
seeds
it.
inside.
That is the flower. I mean, the fruit, the actual round part, and the part that you eat is the female part. The part that you don't eat is the male part. But if you have had fig trees in the United States, you
And they
probably
really love each other, and they've made a commitment to each other. Then they get together.
Well, how do they get together? That's the really, really interesting thing.
I'm
about
gonna guess
figs.
bees, because I'm not stupid.
They're wasps.
Ooh, wasps.
And they're special wasps that have like evolved to only pollinate figs. It's the most incredible thing. So the female wasp, it can fly. The male one can't. And it burrows
I love
into the flower.
You can fly, you can fly, you can fly. I love that.
It burrows into the flower and then it lays its eggs. And then the eggs hatch inside the flower,
Okay.
which is inside the fruit part.
Okay.
And then those babies reproduce. So it's kind of incestuous, I guess, but that's what happens in nature.
Okay.
And then the females
Babies
of
making
the
babies.
reproduction, then they leave because they have wings. So the females are the only ones responsible for keeping fig trees alive.
Go.
I mean, not
freaking
only
figure.
because they need the reproduction from the male,
Yeah,
but
like,
they're
isn't
the ones that
like
have to do
society
all
at
of
large?
the work.
I'm not trying to say anything against males, because I love the men in my family, and I have boys, but it is typical that the woman would be like, at the end of the day, responsible.
Right.
Right?
She has to fly like super far to get to the next female fig flower and then burrow inside. And then as she's burrowing, here's the part that I just think is super interesting and also super applicable is that as she's burrowing, wow,
Whoa, mister. We're gonna have a guest for a moment. He got cranky with his friend.
As she's burrowing, she loses her antennae and her wings, so she dies in the flower. She's done.
Oh,
I
tragic,
know.
beautiful story. That's like Madame Bovary, but with figs and bees.
It blew my mind, and I was like, wow, like that's just exactly almost what we do, except not as.
You don't
drastic.
physically die, you just lose all your good looks and get stretch marks.
Exactly. It feels like you die for a little bit after you lay all your eggs.
A part of you dies.
Yeah.
The part of you that went
This is
out
so
in
sad.
the 20s, your 20s,
Mhm.
not the 20s, like
Not the 20s, you don't go backwards.
like not like old jazz age, but in your 20s, you know, like that part of you, the part that can get up and think, I'm going to yoga
Or,
this
like,
morning, and
drink
I'm gonna get breakfast.
Multiple drinks and then not wake up and feel like you're
Horrible.
also going to die.
Which is
Again.
why we drink good cocktails now, because
Mhm.
if you're going to drink cocktails,
Make
at
it
our
count.
age, you're gonna make it count because you can't have a lot of them. So it better be a good one.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's really how it should be at every age. That's part of our philosophy here.
Yes.
Soapbox. If you're gonna drink a cocktail, make it a good one. Alcohol is a gift from the gods to us. Let's
Yes.
treat it appropriately.
Yes.
Or from God to us.
Yeah.
Not polytheism, but
Yeah. But that's an evolution that we've taken also. I mean, I
yes,
think most
as
people
we've
take that.
grown older. Yeah.
It's
like,
something that I wish that we could tell all the young people though also.
but the
is-
young people, a lot of people don't have the money and so they don't think about it, you know, but the greatest thing about our cocktails is they don't have to be very expensive.
No.
You can grow them yourself.
Yeah, I mean that's
That's
exactly
what we
do.
And then you just find a neighbor with a fig tree and the bees will do all the work for you and then you can have a good cocktail.
So one of the things is that, and I feel like we should come up with a crafty name, is that when the bee goes into the fig, it dies. And
Yeah.
so you're actually eating
Oh,
dead
I don't know
wasps.
if I love about that.
That's a fun fact. So now, if you ever have a fig and you watch this video, you can just drop that in casual conversation. But here's the fun thing, is that the fig has an acid in it that converts that wasp into protein, and so that wasp becomes good for you. That's how cool science is.
Science!
It's like Bill
rules.
Nye, the science guy.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Go Seattle! Go 90s!
Yeah, because Bill's from Seattle. so.
Yeah, Bill Nye is, yeah, he's basically our neighbor.
I mean, that's why I can use just his first name, because we're
He-
from Seattle,
yeah.
so we're like on a first name basis.
First name basis with Bill.
Definitely. Anyways.
So, I'm eating dead wasps when I eat a fig.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a little creepy. We're not going to have a full fig in this cocktail,
Well,
and I am
also,
actually happy about that now,
I should
knowing that.
clarify that in the United States, since we don't have those special wasps, the wasps are very specific to the Mediterranean.
Oh.
And so that's like more of an heirloom fig tree. We have self-pollinating fig trees here in the United States.
Oh,
or you
farmers.
should. So like, yeah, so
Cool.
plant science has come a long way. And so now the fig tree can just self-pollinate and it doesn't actually need those very specific wasps. And so
Science really does rule, and so do farmers. We love them.
Yes.
Makes it so that I don't have to eat dead wasps in my
That's
drinks.
so
I like
true.
that. Although, I've already converted our figs into something today. So
we don't actually have a fig here. Because the other fun fact
Went down?
about figs is that they only last up to like 2 weeks in the refrigerator, which is why figs are hard to find. And the
Yes.
easiest place to find them is a farmer's market. And only during a very short
time.
window.
Which is why you need to preserve them, because fig
Yes.
is a perfect winter fruit. I don't know what to call it now.
It's a flower.
It's a perfect winter flower. As far as flavor goes, and they are the fig trees around here at least ripen in like September, which
Yes.
is the perfect window for you then to turn that into jam or a shrub like we're doing today, and enjoy it in a cocktail all winter
If
long.
you live down where it's warmer, then you can get 2 harvests, one in the spring and one in the fall.
If you're from the South, I'm jealous of you for many, many reasons.
Yeah, you get citrus, which
Great
is
accents.
awesome. Well, also California.
Oh, okay, that makes sense too.
California
That's
is
great
actually
accents, but we like you too.
is actually the #1 producer of figs. 98% of figs
Oh.
are grown in California.
So many facts.
Yep.
So, figs are another good winter cocktail ingredient because they pair really well with other winter ingredients. So, we're going to use rosemary today. Because we grow it on
I
the farm.
love rosemary. Rosemary is probably my favorite herb that I have growing in our herb garden.
And your favorite herb in general, I think.
It is, because it just smells so good.
It smells so good. I like rosemary candles. Like, I would probably wear a rosemary perfume. I like the rosemary shampoo from Aveda.
Yeah, I love it in every single form, and I'm thrilled because our rosemary that we planted 2 years ago is doing so well that I can use it for all the things. I'm going to actually make rosemary and sage wreaths this year.
Pretty.
I know.
I was going to do
Another
that, and
fun thing to do with herbs.
you will probably actually do it. So I'm glad that you're
Yeah,
gonna
well,
do
I
that.
have enough also
Yeah.
to do it.
We thought about doing it last year, but the herbs weren't mature enough then.
Yeah.
So figs are a good cocktail because they pair well with other winter stuff like rosemary, and because they can be preserved in fall and then used throughout the winter. Another reason that I love them is just because most people don't eat a fig on a daily basis for
Right.
the reasons we've already enumerated,
So it feels
right?
special.
It's different. It's special. People stop and they pause and they go, what is that?
Yep.
Figs also pair really well with cinnamon, which is also in this shrub. So let's talk about the shrub, and then we'll go get the rosemary from the field.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Yep.
Hayes
While you
has
talk
an
about the
opinion.
shrub, I'm gonna go check on Cash because
Cash
he's
is
starting
a
to
little
whine.
bit cranky.
Cash is the baby.
Cash is supposed to be taking a nap, but sometimes 2-3-month-olds don't cooperate. Okay, so fig shrub. A shrub is when you preserve, and I'm gonna give you the 101 version because not everyone knows this. If you know it, good for you. I love you for knowing what a shrub is, but for everyone else who's still learning and growing together, the fig shrub is gonna be made from vinegar, sugar, and your fruit, flowers in this case, the figs, and then your aromatic or your spice. So I like to do a cold preserved shrub. You can make shrubs by boiling all these ingredients together to incorporate them, and then it's going to infuse it from the heat faster. But I don't think you get the same purity of taste as when you do a cold infused shrub. It takes longer. It takes probably a week and a half, 2 weeks to do a cold infused shrub, but it's just such a pure, strong, good fig flavor. And because I didn't have fresh figs when I was making this, I actually used dried figs. Costco sells a huge bag of organic dried figs that you can put in this shrub, and that's what I did. So you're going to combine your dried figs, pack a mason jar pretty tight with half of the mason jar full, the big ones, the pint ones. And then you're going to cover that in sugar all the way until it's about halfway full, and then cover that in vinegar. And you're just going to keep doing equal parts sugar and vinegar and fruit until you fill up your jar or make however much you want to make. And then you're going to add a couple cinnamon sticks. Put it in the fridge. Shake. Try to dissolve all the sugar. The first step, the first day of a shrub is the hardest. After that, you're golden. Dissolve the sugar, and then you just put it in the fridge, and every couple days shake it again. That's it.
Okay. So
And
the
then
first
taste
day
it.
you only have to shake it once though.
The first day you want to shake it once, but a lot. It's going to be a shake weight. You're going to have an upper body workout.
Got it.
Yeah. And then once the
I mean, but
hard
that
stuff
is the
is
best
done.
kind of workout. It's like a workout I could actually get behind, right?
Yeah, because you're going to get a cocktail at the end of it.
Yeah, functional working out or functional fitness. I think
That's a real
That's a
thing.
thing,
That's
yeah.
basically CrossFit, I think.
yeah, but or cocktail making.
Cocktail making in Americans. I like it a lot more. So yeah, that's how you make a shrub. And the vinegar is going to act as your acid in your cocktail, which is great because we're in Washington. We don't have fresh citrus around, and I don't always have a lemon or a lime in my fridge, and so I don't want to squeeze those lemons or limes. This one,
Really?
Hayes is doing a stance and yelling at us. He's real confident too. We are going to put just a squeeze of lemon in this, but you don't have to sit here and juice this whole lemon or 2 or 3. So it's an inexpensive.
Oh, we're back.
Okay, so we were curious. Did that pause and you guys didn't see anything, or did you see me open up chips and wipe noses?
Let us know.
Let us know. Leave a note. We want to know. Okay, so what we were talking about was the shrub. It's being an inexpensive way to add acid to a cocktail. And a cocktail, like any food, is a balance between sweetness, acidity, flavorings like aromatics, spices, and then the spirit itself. So you're trying to balance all of those components in a cocktail. So you need acid, and generally a way you do that is through either bitters, which are bitter, so it's got that kind of taste, or a citrus. If you don't want to squeeze a bunch of lemons or buy a huge bag of lemons to be able to make a cocktail, it's nice to have a shrub because you can just use the shrub to add your acid.
And the vinegar is what adds acid.
The vinegar adds the acid. It also adds flavor and sweetness at the same time. So you're basically making a really well-balanced cocktail with very few ingredients.
And I think a lot of people,
this is
because
a
I was
powerhouse
definitely this way of like, ew, that sounds disgusting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want to
I'm
put
not gonna
vinegar
drink
in my
vinegar.
drink.
Ugh.
Bull.
It's not like a health tonic. It's good. And because you're adding additional sweetness and spirits and other things to it, it tastes good and you don't taste the vinegar. Also, because you added a lot of sugar
Yes.
and the fruit, this even on itself, just with soda water, it tastes good. It doesn't taste like vinegar.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't believe you at first. I had to try it though.
I didn't specify. You can do shrubs of any kind of vinegar, but I like apple cider vinegar because I think it is the easiest to blend. It's not super strong. There are definitely recipes, especially with like berries, where you would use champagne vinegar.
Oh, okay.
I like apple cider vinegar though because you can buy it in a huge tub from like grocery outlet
And here's something.
and use
If
it
you're
for
really, really adventurous, like
What?
myself,
so
you can
adventurous.
make it.
You can make vinegar
I
yeah,
make
from her
my
apples.
own apple cider vinegar. So if you followed us, you might have seen that we have an apple cider press, and we have one huge apple tree, and so we take the apples from there, and then we press cider, which is just yummy and sugary and delicious.
And the
But then we
kids
have
drink it
all of
straight
that
out of the spigot.
extra stuff that isn't the juice, and so we feed a lot of it to the cows because the cows love it.
It's a good day for the cows.
And then, but we also take some and we put them in huge 5-gallon buckets, put them filled up with water, put them down in our root cellar, and then just leave them there for months and months and months, and it turns into apple cider vinegar.
You
can
can
do the
strain
same
it all
thing.
out.
Yes, like once you go to drink it, then you still have all the clumps. It looks really disgusting because it
Start
starts
selling this.
it starts growing. I know it starts growing the mother.
Ooh, the mother.
Yeah, the mother.
You live in Portland. You've heard about the mother. If you live everywhere in the
And
Northwest,
it's like
you've heard about
this
the mother.
filmy, gross, but it's all
It's the
of
part that's good for you. It's the live
the fermentation. Yeah. And so
Doing
then
the
I
work.
pull that out and I save that because that is like gold. And then you can gift that to other people because that mother helps create another mother faster. And so if you take that mother and then put it in a new one that you're starting, then you'll get that mother and
So
that
if
break
people
down
are
faster.
making like kombucha, can they
Yes.
use your vinegar mother?
I'm pretty sure.
Like mothers will nurse other babies.
Yeah,
basically.
which is fantastic.
So
Real
tribal. It all
communal.
goes back to the roots, guys. Okay, let's make a cocktail.
Yes.
We're gonna walk you through the steps of the cocktail, and then we're gonna go out to the farm to get the rosemary to finish the cocktail. I mean, we're at the farm, but out into the field.
Yes.
So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take 1 ounce of this fig shrub, and we're gonna put it in our shaker. Then we're gonna do 1 ounce of Quattro. Quattro is a triple sec, and if you never knew how to pronounce it, it's Quattro. I did
Yeah,
for
I
a long
did.
time.
Because what does it look like? Cointreau.
Quattro. Yeah, it's Quattro. So it's an orange liqueur, and it's got a lot of other spices and things in it, and it's a high quality one. So you are going to want to do a more high quality one. If you use really cheap triple sec that you might put in like a cheap margarita, it's not going to taste as good. You can do it if that's what you have. Like, go for it. We're not going to stop you from making a cocktail, but you will notice a difference.
I stole some triple sec one time out of my grandma's liquor cabinet. I never told her, so she'll probably watch this.
man.
Well, she won't. But and it was really disgusting.
You were like 15?
Yeah,
16?
I mean I was
You were-
under the drinking age, which I don't condone.
We don't condone it, and
No.
if you're going to do that, don't steal triple sec. But
Yeah.
that was probably a blessing because you probably had like 1 sip and you were like,
Yeah,
alcohol
it was
is bad.
It was weird and gross. I mean, I drank it anyways.
Ew, you did?
Beggars can be choosers.
It's all. Okay, we're not gonna unpack that right
Okay.
now. Okay, bourbon. You're gonna need bourbon, and this is Elk Rider Bourbon from Heritage Distilling. They're a local company around here, and we like them. So it's a good quality, like mid-shelf bourbon. You do not need to use the fanciest bourbon. Please drink that on ice or straight. Like, don't use it for this cocktail, but use a good mid-shelf bourbon. A comparable might be like a Wild Turkey or a Buffalo Trace. Those are some national brands that you could check out. But also check out the local brands near you. And then we're gonna do a little bit of bitters. So this is exciting. This is a fig bitters. Did you know you can make bitters flavored with almost anything? Did you know that?
I mean, no, I didn't.
So
I thought it had to be bitter.
well, it does. It has all the other stuff that you put in it, all the roots that make it bitter and, you know, give it that distinctive flavor. But You can also put other flavorings. So there are like spicy
okay.
bitters and there are citrus bitters. This is a fig bitters. And my old boss actually made this for me as a Christmas gift. Yeah.
That's a fun
When I was
gift.
still working corporate at Microsoft, I had a manager who was super into craft cocktails and actually had a craft cocktail blog. And he made us all our own little like cocktail components and then designed a cocktail for each of us and made it for us in the office.
That is a lot of work.
It was so nice. It was the sweetest manager gift I've ever received.
That is super sweet.
Yeah. And it was Mad Men themed, so we got to dress up and then have a cocktail party, and he made us the cocktail that reminded him of us.
Which one did you get?
I can't remember the name of it, actually. It wasn't my favorite, but it was fun and kind of mysterious and different, and I liked that I wasn't just like a cosmopolitan or something.
Yeah.
You know, I liked that it had like walnut liqueur in it. I remember it had walnut liqueur and it had fig bitters. So he knew that I liked fig. So yeah, we're gonna use these, but you can use aromatic bitters or Peychaud's aromatic bitters is kind of like the classic that's on almost every bar and probably what you would pick up at like Total Wine & More or a Safeway. You might have that at home, so you can use whatever bitters you want.
Okay, I noticed that you're using a bourbon.
Yeah.
What is a bourbon versus a whiskey versus a rye?
Yeah. So bourbon
That always confuses me.
and whiskey, the difference between them is the percentage of corn to wheat, and then the type of barrel that it's like stored in.
Got
So
it.
like to be called a bourbon in the U.S. has this similar qualifications as like a champagne in other. So bourbon.
That was my grandpa.
Is kind of takes on a sweeter taste because it's going to be always stored in oak barrels, and those barrels have certain qualifications too. Like they can only be used twice, I think,
Okay.
and then they can't be used to make bourbon anymore.
Cool.
So that's when they sell them at like the Home Depot, and you put flowers in them.
Got it.
Yeah,
We have a couple of those.
yeah. Or sometimes they would be used then to like finish other products.
I go out to the farm and
To the field.
I
We're
mean
on
to
the
the
farm.
field. Yeah.
And we're gonna get rosemary because that's the last ingredient that we need. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So how much rosemary do we grow, Venice?
We grow
I don't know these things.
rows, and they're 100-foot rows, and they're spaced every 2 feet apart. So we have about 50 plants per row. So about 100
Because rosemary
plants.
needs a lot of room to spread, right? It
does,
gets bushy.
yeah. Because
But
it's
we
one
have
of-
a special kind of rosemary. Tell them about our special kind of rosemary. I love this for cocktails.
So we grow a barbecue rosemary, which basically means that it grows more upright than out, and it grows more straight than all curlicued, which allows us to cut it, and then it'll get woody, and then we can use that as like kind of like a toothpick or like a skewer. So that's why they call it a barbecue rosemary, is because you can then strip the rosemary, it's kind of like needles, leaves off, and then you can use that as like a barbecue skewer, which I think is super fun.
That is really fun. I would eat some barbecue rosemary skewer chicken for sure. You can see here the first 2 rows are vacant because we decided to switch things up and we tore some stuff out and are going to plant some new things in its place. And then the next row is going to be our purple sage. That is one of my other favorites for cocktails. I absolutely adore sage in a cocktail, and the purple is just really pretty in your drink. And then behind that we have tarragon.
Yep.
And behind that,
This is thyme,
and behind that,
lavender,
ooh, lavender is our new one. We're excited about that.
and then rosemary.
And then that cool barbecue rosemary.
And then
See if I can get
what
closer.
looks like all weeds will be tilled in the spring, and we will plant our edible flowers around the edges,
Yeah.
which helps attract the pollinators too, so that we get lots of herbs in the spring also.
So those guys, boop, right there. See those tall spiky guys? That's our rosemary.
We also have hyssop at the end of the sage bush.
And hyssop is cool too. That's another cool one that's like very, very ancient herb. I bet hyssop is in the Bible a lot. Okay, one other thing that you should know is that it's really appropriate that it's a barbecue rosemary, helping him here, because we're gonna set it on fire. This cocktail involves charring the rosemary for adding a smoky flavor to the drink, which is pretty cool.
One of the things about cutting rosemary, or really any herb, especially perennial herbs that get woody, so rosemary will get woody, is that you only want to cut the part that's green. So if you can kind of see inside of here, it's still green. And that
Like
means,
firewood.
Yeah, so that means that when I cut this, it will grow back. If I cut all the way down into the wood, it's less likely to grow back, and then you've dwarfed your plant.
Also, if the wood goes too far up the plant and your plant gets too woody, it's time to tear it out and replace it, right?
Yeah, I still like rosemary can go for a really long time.
You can have like
because it'll just
20-year-old
keep-
plants, right?
Yeah, so you can just keep going. You just don't want to cut into that woody part because then you've killed your plant.
Hayes is enjoying this little stroll, so he's really just taking his time. I love that about toddlers. Like, toddler walks take approximately 17 times longer than anyone else walking.
Checking out the cows?
Because they notice things and they appreciate things.
There's the cows. You see them.
Good, okay. So, you got your cocktail shaker. It's full of ice. You're gonna pour in those first things that we talked about. So, if everyone remembers, we have a fig cinnamon shrub made with vinegar. Not gross, delicious. Get a good workout in while you dissolve that sugar and make a yummy drink mixer that you can keep in your fridge for a long time. The other best thing about shrubs, they last for up to a year in your fridge. So, like, well worth the time you're gonna invest in making this because you're gonna use it over and over and over. 1 ounce of that, okay? Then we're gonna do 1 ounce of this Quattro. I always want to say Quattro, Cinco, Cinco, Seis.
Me too.
She like just shows what huge dorks we are. 1 ounce of that. And we're gonna do our bourbon next. We're gonna do a full 1.5 ounces of that. Shot glasses are usually 1.5 ounces if you're in America. European shots are 1 ounce, and then a lot of recipes call for more than that, but a shot that we refer to in America is 1.5 ounces, so that's your full shot glass. Okay. Couple drops of bitters. 1, 2. You can buy these medicinal like stopper bottles, the apothecary bottles, I think they call them, on Amazon, and they are amazing for making your own bitters. They're my favorite way to store them.
And you have to store bitters in the fridge?
No.
Okay.
But bitters are alcoholic, so you make bitters by infusing super high proof liquor like 151 or other brands, and you're going to then add a bunch of stuff to it, and you can see I only put 2 drops of it in there, but it's still liquor. So a lot of people who choose not to drink for any reason, they're sober, they don't like bitters in their drinks. So something to check if you have family members or friends coming over and you're trying to make a mocktail version of something, I would always ask before you just include bitters. Got it. Like, good to know. Shake, 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 shake. Up and down.
You do that
You tripped.
so nicely.
Okay. You want to shake just until the outside of your shaker is cold. And even though we don't have a citrus, general rules about shaking versus stirring, usually you're going to shake when you have citrus, fresh juices involved in a cocktail. That's usually when you want to shake a drink. You never shake the fuzzy components of your drink. This one, because we don't really have citrus in it, we could just stir it over ice in a mixing glass.
Okay.
But with the shrub, personally, I like to get it really, really cold, and I still like to shake it. So, shaken or stirred, it's a personal preference, bond kind of thing.
I like it.
Yeah. And then you're going
You
to
have to
strain it out.
say it in that.
Bond,
accent,
James
yeah.
Bond. Shaken, not stirred.
Yes,
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't watch James Bond videos usually.
Neither
They're
do
too
I.
scary for me. I am like the biggest wuss ever. I don't like to get my heart rate up through movies. Okay. This is a huge knife to cut citrus. But we're just going to do like a little squeeze of lemon in here.
Bigger is better, Melinda.
When it comes to knives, I guess that depends on the job you're doing. This is a cleaver. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little squeeze of the lemon juice into that cocktail, and then I like to do it in this round so that after I do my little squeeze, I can twist it and drop it in the drink or put it on the rim, and that way if you want to add more and you like it more tart, you can add more later, but I just started with a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
And
nice,
it makes
huh?
it look pretty.
It looks beautiful. So we're gonna move these out of the way so I can show you the next fun Bill and I the Science Guy kind of part about this. It's just lighting this rosemary on fire a little bit and then putting a bowl over it so we capture some of the smoke from the rosemary into the drink.
What?
Yeah.
So scientific.
I know.
It's like a science lesson And, well, I mean, cooking is science, right?
Watch out, please, though. Don't like dip this in your liquor first and then set it on fire. You know that alcohol sets on fire a lot, right? So we're gonna be careful, and we're gonna just light the rosemary on fire while holding it in our fingers. Our fingers that touched the alcohol are gonna go down at the bottom of the rosemary scrape and not be up
Safety first.
by the flame. Okay. So we're gonna light this on fire, and then I'm gonna put the glass bowl that we have over it. Drop this into the drink, and it'll capture some of it. You can also use a cloche, or like if you have a cake stand, those glass tops from a cake stand.
That would work perfect.
Yeah. I just found the closest bowl that we had because that'll work too. Okay. Also, because it is kind of green and woody, it might not light on fire perfectly. One way you can make herbs light on fire and give you a better smoke is if you put them in the microwave for like 30 seconds first to dry them out a little bit, and then burn them. In this case, I don't want
all the best tricks.
I do this for a living. In this case, I don't want a ton of smoke in my drink, so I'm just gonna call it good. So it's smoking. I'm gonna put the bowl over the top. It's gonna capture some of that smoke into the drink, and then so Scotch has a smoky flavor because of the way that it's made.
Okay.
Bourbon has a sweeter flavor. We're almost making it by adding the rosemary smoke into a more kind of scotchy cocktail flavor, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. So it dropped my lemon off. Darn you, bowl. We'll put that back on. It looks pretty. And now we have a nice stir stick. Isn't that festive?
And again, you also smell that smokiness. And so you, even though it's not a lot of smoke, you taste it through your nose also.
Yeah. Because the senses are like a huge part of when you're drinking, and that's why we love growing herbs for cocktails, because you experience the cocktail first by having this go up your nose. Yeah. We talked in one of our previous videos about how rosemary gets up in your nose. What was the whole thing that I was saying about that you were making fun of?
Not interrupting your mouth.
Rosemary is a garnish that interrupts your mouth. I think it does so in a very good way because I love rosemary. But if you are bothered by getting the rosemary too close to your face when you're drinking, here's what I do. Make like a V and then press it back with your finger on the rim so you're still smelling it, but it's not going to tickle your nose like a mustache. This too, you can use your lemon that you sliced to actually hold the rosemary in place.
So there's like an art of making a drink, but then also drinking a drink.
Yep,
It's
and
kind
there's
of like when you
an
go
art
to the
to
wine,
garnishing.
like when you go to a wine place and you have to like sniff the cork and then like do all the things beforehand.
Yeah,
I mean you don't have to.
You don't have to by any means. I usually don't.
I don't.
But
I would look like a fool.
But with cocktails, there's a lot that you can do to help yourself enjoy the cocktail more and really, get the full benefit of the drink, I think. So this is a good garnish trick to make it pretty and keep it from interrupting your mouth. Do you want to taste it? I already had a taste and I think it's delicious.
Oh, it's so yummy.
Yeah? So I was curious about this one because she doesn't really like whiskey anymore. She drank it too much in college.
Yeah.
But I know she loves rosemary, and she's like not as obsessed with figs as I am, but I thought maybe you'd love it.
I really, really do.
Yeah, this is a fantastic cocktail for entertaining, but it will catch up to you quickly.
Yeah, I can taste that in it.
Yeah, so it's 1.5 ounces of this, 1 ounce of Quattro, which is a lower proof, but you've still got a pretty powerful cocktail here because you have 2.5 ounces of liquor in it.
This just totally reminds me of a Christmas party.
Yeah, this is a Christmas party drink. Absolutely.
Yes.
You should make one for your next affair, next gathering. Let's review what we did real quick so that you have a way to write it down real quick. 1.5 ounces, 1 shot glass full of bourbon. You've got 1 ounce of Quattro.
Cinco seis.
You've got 2 drops of bitters. It does not have to be fig bitters. If you want to make your own fig bitters and give away them as Christmas gifts, send me one, A, and B, good for you. But just, use whatever bitters. It doesn't matter that much for this one. He's sad.
I'm gonna check on him.
Okay.
Keep working.
Okay. And then 1 ounce of fig cinnamon shrub. This is something that is absolutely worth making because like we talked about, it's going to be a really versatile mixer for you and it keeps for a year in your fridge. You can use it forever. You're going to put those all together in either a mixing glass or a shaker, your choice, shaken or stirred, and you're going to just incorporate them well. Then get your rosemary, light it on fire a little bit. If yours is not lighting because it's too green or wet or anything, Put it in the microwave for 15 to 30 seconds to dry it out a little bit. It'll set on fire a little better. Ours was green, so I didn't have to blow it out. If yours sets on fire well, then blow it out. And then
Things that you
put the cocktail.
shouldn't have to say, but you just never know.
Safety first. Put the rosemary in the drink. Add your bowl over it. Let it just kind of get that smoky flavor into the cocktail for 30 seconds, about 15 seconds, and depending on your preference, I guess you can try it longer if you want. And then do your garnish. Add your little squeeze of lemon and enjoy.
Oh my gosh, it's so yummy.
It's really good. It's 10:30 a.m. when we started this live video, and we're gonna finish this cocktail.
I think so, yeah.
I think we are.
I mean, I'm
because
not going
we
anywhere
like it.
today, so why not?
I am, so you'll mostly finish
I'll
this
probably
cocktail.
mostly, yeah.